Well, hi there, and welcome to my state of mind here on WPRI.com. Here's some good news if you're a viewer of the program. We're most likely going to be back tomorrow night. Yes, on MyRI TV at 7:30 and Fox Providence at midnight. Dan Yorke's State of Mind, now in its seventh year, will return with original broadcasts from this fabulous home studio. We'll see. Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee is our scheduled guest for tomorrow night. Now, all of this is tentative, making sure that we've got all our technical I's dotted and T's crossed. But WPRI has done an incredible job with its news and program delivery, the road show, and all those things. And we've been on a repeat basis simply because of social distancing and manpower issues in the building and everybody being safe and schedules that go along with that. But we've been able to generate a plan here to bring the program back. And I think it's important because we have a chance to have some conversations that otherwise might be missing from the dynamic and the dialogue in the community. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that. The one thing I am definitely certain of, you are used to Zoom and other types of platforms on television right now. So while it may not be drop dead gorgeous, it certainly will be functional. So again, tomorrow night, it looks like we'll be back. And of course, we always put our programs online here at WPRI.com. So we fully expect to have the TV on and the WPRI.com version, meaning the TV on the online. These commentaries will come and go over that period of time, depending on what the content situation is at this point. So in the meantime, just a couple of thoughts from today. Governor Raimondo had a press conference today, finally interacting with the press. And while that may not be the headline itself, it certainly is progress. I'm going to shut this off, and some of that light movement will change for a second. Hey, listen, home broadcasting is a whole nother ballgame, right? But anyway, the press conference with the press overdue by weeks and weeks and weeks. In fact, she should never have shut it down. But having said that, notwithstanding the good work that she and the Department of Health are doing on the virus itself, it's good to have the press back in place. And although I thought the press was a little bit tentative in its interaction with the governor, it'll begin to test the governor, I think, on a more regular basis, which is a healthy thing. This is not about giving the governor a hard time. This is about asking the questions, demanding follow-up answers, and the accountability that comes with the press, the media, and the elected official. So we'll see how that goes, but better than late than never, I guess we could say. The one announcement the governor made that I think is really profound is we have now entered phase one and had a weekend. At least Saturday was so brutally windy and cold that it probably preempted people from going nuts out there. Restaurants will be able to open for outdoor dining come a week from today, May 18th, which is interesting in and of itself. Many facilities aren't prepared to do that. We'll have to wait for phase two. Some have outdoor dining options, are going to have to ramp up for it, and some in between will have to decide whether or not they're going to make adjustments. Sidewalk dining, if they own their own parking lots, put a tent out there. It's all depending on what space is where for what restaurant who, right? So it's going to be fascinating. The governor is asking the restaurants, though, to take contact tracing information. So you're going to have to make an appointment or reservation, as we say in the dining business, and provide contact information, a phone number at least, so that if you are at a place where someone else got sick, they can tell the doctor I was sick, and they tell the Department of Health, and the Department of Health notifies them that they're COVID-19 positive, and then they ask them, where have you been in the last week? And you say, well, I was at Dan's restaurant last Thursday, and then the Department of Health says, okay, thank you, and calls the restaurant and says, by the way, Bill was ill at your restaurant last Thursday, and all the people that you had there, you may want to call them and let them know that they were in the presence of somebody who was ill. And then they take that database and they send it, I would think, back to the Department of Health, because if the restaurant's got to sit there making 50 calls, I don't think so. And so I'm not sure how this whole thing works. Maybe they just, zap your forehead with a thermometer that they've purchased to say, okay, you're 98.6, have a seat and a cocktail. It's all new ground. Let's give the governor and her plan here a little bit of breathing room over the course of the week, and we'll see how the restaurants measure up with that. Okay. Other notes, real quick. Today, I talked with the Reverend Brian Shanley at Providence College and Frank Sanchez, the president of Rhode Island College, both with their own unique perspectives on opening, but both gung ho that September is certainly the goal, and knowing that testing is going to be important, faculty and student protection is going to be important, quarantine plans are going to be important, hybrid social distancing, online learning, small classroom strategies are going to be important. Athletics are completely up in the air. All of these plans are going to have to be solidified somewhere by early July for a September opening. And we have talked with now the presidents of Brown, URI, Salve, Rick, PC, with CCRI and Bryant to go. All that stuff can be found on the website at WPRO.com, 997 WPRO.com, and on my Facebook and Twitter pages at Dan Yorke Show. I would love to repeat those interviews here on Zoom with Dan Yorke's State of Mind as soon as we are up and going, which again is on Tuesday. So I'll be touching base with all these educators on our TV forum as well, because I think it's really important that we do so. And finally, the president had a briefing, first time in a while. He kind of went nuts on Twitter this weekend and had a lot of energy, I guess. He was really, again, beating his breast over testing, suggesting that anybody in America who wants a test can get a test. And we know that's absolutely not true. In fact, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, a Republican, right after the briefing got on television and said, that's not true. The disconnect between Donald Trump and the truth on this in these matters is glaring. And while it may not affect the base and its supports for President Trump, those voters out there who are wondering, about the leadership during this entire deal, which is going to go another 12 to 18 months minimally, I have a lot to think about come November. No doubt about that. All right. Very good. Thank you very much for checking in with us. Again, we'll be on television. My interview with Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee and some of the small business work he's been doing regarding this COVID-19 crisis at 7:30 on MyRI TV and Fox Providence at midnight. You have a great night. Thanks for checking in here, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Don't forget, wash your hands, don't touch your face, get your mask. You know the routine.